Let's bring in Monica Crowley, who's always causing trouble. She made news today. We'll get to that at the end of the interview. She's out on Long Island, Eastern, where I wish I were right now.
Come on out, Bill.
I'd love to, but yeah, I'm writing this Trump book. I mean, it's just killing me. I'm 3/4 done, but I got deadlines and I can't move. So what I want you to do today is I'm going to run down the Democrats running for Congress, the top 10. And then you tell me if they have a chance to beat Donald Trump. All right?
Okay.
And we're going to assume that they'll have all the money in the world. They'll have all the organization in the world, no matter who gets the nomination. They'll have tremendous resources. But on policy and personality, that's what we're looking at. So Vice President Biden not in the game yet. I believe he's going to come in, but, a lot of stuff swirling around Biden right now. The left doesn't want him in. And if Biden ever did anything his whole life, they're saying, hey, they're whispering, hey, Joe, you get in and this is going to come out. That's happening.
Yes, that's right. And that's what the stories from a couple of weeks ago were all about, Bill. This was warning shot
Little
from
warning.
Biden's enemies. That's right. And they're warning him that there's more to come. So, right. Joe, you might want to check yourself before getting in this race.
Right. So if he does get in, does he have a chance to beat Donald Trump?
I think he does. I think actually he had the best shot last time around and maybe the best shot this time around, strictly because he comes from Scranton, Pennsylvania. So he could actually work hard to neutralize a lot of the president's blue collar support in key swing states like Pennsylvania, Ohio, Wisconsin, Michigan, critical states that Trump won last time and he's going to need again. Joe Biden, if he gets in the race, could make some serious inroads with those voters.
Wouldn't he have to move left, though? He's considered a moderate Democrat now. Wouldn't he have to go left to mollify the pressure groups, the minority groups, all of those people? He'd have to go open border. He'd have to do all of that, wouldn't he?
Yeah, and he's got, a 40-year record that he'd actually have to throw largely into reverse to operate in today's Democratic Party. He's also got a long track record on the crime bill, Anita Hill, a lot of things that worked for him 30 years ago, but that no longer work in today's party. So he's got a lot of explaining to do.
But he's woke. See, he's woke. He's like Rip Van Winkle. He's woke.
Maybe he is. I don't know. But I think what's happening now, because he was supposed to announce last week, Bill, I think he's doing a cost-benefit analysis and really trying to figure out if he's willing to go down this road. I'm not convinced he is.
I don't think he's doing cost-benefit as far as money is concerned. I know that they're throwing stuff at him, and he's going to go, do I want my reputation at age 77 ruined? Because that's what they're going to try to do to him. Bernie Sanders on Fox News. We discussed it yesterday. One poll has him out in front. Biden leads in all the others. Bernie have a chance?
I think he does, because he's got something that Donald Trump actually has on the other side, which is an emotional bond with his base, with the voters on that side. I've got a column coming on Thursday, tomorrow morning actually, in the Washington Times about Bernie Sanders and the ghost of Mrs. Clinton. And what I argue in this piece, Bill, is that, remember in 2008, the Democratic primary was Obama versus Hillary Clinton, and Obama trampled her. So a couple of years later, the Democrats thought that they wanted to make it up to Mrs. Clinton for getting screwed over by Barack Obama 8 years earlier. They gave her the nomination. It didn't work out so well. And I'm wondering now if that kind of emotionally driven impulse to right a wrong is what's driving a lot of folks on the base. They want to make it up to Bernie because he got screwed over last time by Mrs. Clinton. There is some of that going on, and I think a large part of what you see in Bernie Sanders' support, polling, fundraising, and so on, a lot of that is simply 2016 sentimentality, and I'm not sure it's going to hold over the long term. It may, but it may not.
But I don't think he could beat Donald Trump, even though he's going to run on Medicare for all, free health care for all. That's his main goal, to run on that. And as appeal for millions of Americans, they want free health care. They vote for Bernie just for that. I just don't see him beating a socialist beating Trump. Mayor Pete Buttigieg, is that how you say his last name? Buttigieg?
Buttigieg.
Buttigieg. Boy, I wasn't even close on that, was I?
No.
Shows you how much cable news I'm watching these days. Buttigieg. So he's, the darling of Hollywood now. He's edged Beto out a little bit. I don't see him as having a chance, but what do I know?
Well, anything could happen. And this is the lesson of 2016 with Donald Trump, right? This is why you have this massive Democratic field. Everybody thinks they can do it. Everybody thinks that they can beat Trump. In Buttigieg's case, he's got a couple of things going for him that are setting him apart from most of the pack on the Democratic side. He's young, and that's where all the energy and activism are on the Democratic side. He is a military veteran, served in Afghanistan. He's openly gay. And I think, he's from the Midwest, so he's got a regional appeal that also might chip away at some of Trump's appeal in the Midwest. But he's going to have to walk over a lot of better funded candidates. And you know what, when the national spotlight is on you, when you run for president, I mean, it's one thing to be mayor of like a mid-range city, South Bend, Indiana, but it's another thing to run for president. And when you have the national glare on you, you either melt or you shine. So We'll see which one Mayor Pete does.
All right. Kamala Harris?
She was sort of the rock star early on. She raised a substantial amount of money, but she sort of stalled out. And the one thing that she's missing is a natural charisma. She's an attractive candidate in a lot of ways, but she is stalled because she's just not connecting on that emotional level. And in the era of Trump, that's what people expect.
Beto?
Beto has also seen his star on the decline. He had one big thing going for it, two big things, Bill. Number one, he gave Senator Ted Cruz a real run for his money in that Senate race last year in a deeply red state, Texas, which Democrats want to flip eventually. But he has another thing going for him, which is he looks exactly like Bobby Kennedy. So people who still have the Kennedy nostalgia going on reached for this sort of tall, good-looking young guy from a red state and thought he's our savior. But he's raised some money, but he hasn't really connected beyond sort of a social media kind of.
He and Mayor Pete are fighting it out. Yeah, those two guys, it's the same guy. Now, did you see the college student ask Beto O'Rourke, hey, you and your wife made $375,000 and you gave $1,000 to charity. Can you explain that? Did you see that?
I did see that. He had a hard time explaining it.
Here's what he said, just so the audience knows. He said, well, I'm here talking to you. I could be home. I went, what? That's your explanation? You're cheap. You're cheap. That's what you are. You're cheap. $1,000? Oh,
disastrous response. If you're running for public office and you want to serve in public service, you don't give an answer like that. I'm stuck.
No, I'm here. Well, you're there, but you flew in on a private jet paid for by the campaign fund. But anyway.
You know what? Bill, on Beto, he's married to a woman who comes from a billionaire family. So
right.
There really is.
But that's not income that you declare. The billionaire family is trust fund stuff, gifting, all of that. So he has declared income of $375. He gives $1,000 to charity. I don't believe Elizabeth Warren, Cory Booker, Amy Klobuchar, or Julian Castro have any chance at all to do anything. Do you
Correct.
Disagree with any of that? All right, good. I'm glad.
No,
all right,
I totally agree.
Now let's get on to you. That's the most important thing. So today, Bloomberg reports. Now, Bloomberg is an outfit that's primarily a financial news agency, but they hate Trump along with everybody else. Now, they report that you are going to be hired by the Treasury Department, Mnuchin, right? That's how you say his name, Mnuchin, right?
The Secretary of the Treasury, Stephen Mnuchin.
Okay. See, yes. I got that right. I didn't get Buttigieg, whatever it is. All right, so Mnuchin wants you to work for him to do what?
Well, I'm under consideration to run communications for the Department of the Treasury.
Oh.
So it's the public affairs position at the Department of Treasury. And nothing has been confirmed yet, but they are considering me, and I am considering the job as well.
Very flattering. Do you need me to give you a recommendation, or would that work against you if I did?
You know what? You sound right now like my old boss, President Nixon, who, when I was applying to graduate school and I was working for him, I asked him for letters of recommendation, and he said to me, "Monica, you're applying to the Ivy League. Don't you understand? A recommendation from me hurts you there."
You actually got a PhD from where again?
Columbia University.
Oh, right. All right, well, look, Monica's going to be here Monday and Tuesday of next week because I'm going to be off, subbing for me. And, keep everybody posted. You'd be a great communications director of the Treasury Department. Alexander Hamilton started the Treasury Department, and I know he would want you. Alexander Hamilton would want Monica Crowley to be in there. I know it.
Well, with the endorsement of Alexander Hamilton and Bill O'Reilly, how can I go wrong?
I know. All right, Monica. We'll see you on Monday. Thank you very much. We appreciate it as always.